Hey, good morning, town. Hey, I want to try to make this short, but it's a lot of information, and it's something that just kind of personally lights me up. It's we got to help spread the word, okay? Because all too many times, our fellow coaches or trainers, whatever you want to call them, they're telling the client or their friends or family or someone the right information, but the way it's said doesn't resonate, and it leads to someone trying habits that or trying efforts that are not going to be effective at all. So I want to help clear the air and explain what that coach or trainer is saying and help everyone be on the same page so that we can communicate with the people we care about and we're trying to help with more effectively. There's 5 topics here. So the first one is stress is not making you fat. This whole cortisol thing, your stress hormones, all that making us retain fat, and no, you cannot build fat mass, which is a tissue, it's mass, out of air. Now, some of these stress hormones can make it easier to store body fat, make it easier to crave crap you shouldn't be eating, but it alone is not directly responsible for us holding on to fat or losing it. High levels of stress may make you retain a little bit of water. But again, through drinking enough fluid, you can suppress your ADH level, your hormone level that's responsible for water retention, and that will get rid of that excess fluid. So that whole stress level, that's kind of crap. Also, when we're typically stressed, we're eating foods that we shouldn't be, or eating too much of them, and skipping exercise. So you could say stress is causing you to gain or hold weight, but it's not directly responsible. It's part of an equation. You gotta be very clear about that, because some people will get confused and just give up if they feel like they're stressed and it's the stress that's making them retain fat. You gotta explain what that means. The second one is cardio without a heart rate monitor, or any training for that matter, is just dumb. There's days you can go and hop on the elliptical and the heart rate is just flying. You're burning calories like a champ. There's other days it's like a slug. There's so many factors that depend on if you've overtrained, you rest enough, hydration, what you've eaten, that affect how you burn your calories. Without a monitor, you really don't know. You're like flying blind. You're literally searching for a needle in a haystack. And the thing is, you're spending time we only get 24 hours a day. You're spending energy, sweat, only to find out it may have not been enough, or you may have been overdoing it and causing some muscle wasting. The heart monitor lets you know, no matter what your mental state, what the job is required to hit your goal. It lets you know how hard to work and for how long. So just because someone does cardio every day, what does that mean? Are they running 70% of their max heart rate, 80, 90? Are they running 50? Without a monitor, you don't know. So when someone says, hey, I'm doing cardio every day, it's not working, you have to ask at what intensity and know what intensity is appropriate for that person. So again, training without a heart monitor is dumb. You have to know how to use them too. The third one is intermittent fasting or keto diets. Those are a fine method of calorie control. Keto, you've eliminated 1/3 of your nutrients you could possibly intake. Again, it comes back to your overall calorie balance. You can still eat too many calories while doing low carb and not lose weight. Of course, you'll lose the water weight you lose from not having carbs because your muscles deflate. And if you were lean enough, you would see how stringy and emaciated you look. But typically people who are very lean, they eat carbs. It tends to be the people who want to lose that are avoiding them because they like that quick weight loss from water weight. But the thing is, again, it's not sustainable. When you do have some carbs, then you have to start all over. Weight goes back up. And intermittent fasting is pretty good too. Again, another method for controlling overall calorie intake. But if your metabolic rate is 2,000 and in that 4-hour window you eat 2,500, you're gonna gain. End of story. I will say both of those are very poor choices for someone who wants to improve their strength and their athleticism. You're not going to be a lean, sexy machine doing intermittent fasting or keto simply because you don't have the fuel and the raw nutrients that come from our food in order to build or work on making that physique you want. It's nice, it's excellent if you don't want to exercise, but if you're looking to be more viable and healthy as you age, so when you're in your 50s or 60s, you can still play with the grandkids, you can change a tire, you can do freaking life. You're gonna need to lift weights and do some real working out, and that will require more nutrients than you can get on an intermittent fasting. I mean, you can't get all your proteins and carbs and fat in a 4 to 8 hour window. There's not enough time. You can't do that. You need more time to spread that out throughout the day. And on low carb, you just simply don't have the fuel in the tank to work hard. You'll feel exhausted and out of breath, and you haven't really done much because your cells are missing a vital nutrient they need in order to burn body fat. The fourth one is, coaches say this a lot, you're not eating enough to lose weight. Okay, stop, think about that. If that was actually had any basis in reality, starvation on this planet wouldn't exist. What the coach really means is that you have consistently not fed yourself enough food over time that you've lowered your metabolic rate. So if you're 200 pounds and your metabolism should be 2,000 calories, because you have consistently yo-yo dieted or tried to eat too little for too long, the body says, hey butthead, you're not gonna kill me. I'm just gonna turn down our metabolic rate, so we need less calories to stay alive on the planet. So that's what that means, is that they're saying, I think because you haven't been consistently eating enough, your overall metabolic rate is too low, and for you to drop your food even lower than what you're doing is not feasible. And so how you fix that is you get an RMR test done. Lots of places provide them, so do we. You find out your number, and then you do what's called reverse dieting. You eat more gradually in order to get that metabolic rate up, along with intense training that helps spurn the body to raise its caloric needs. But again, just saying you're not eating enough to lose lets people think I gotta eat more, but you're not helping them. You're not giving them the specific details. That's right along the lines of going to your financial advisor and saying, hey, in 10 years, I want $1 million in the bank cash. And they say, cool, save more, spend less. That didn't help you one bit. So you got to know how to explain this stuff. The last one is number 5. Again, coaches will say you're not eating enough to lose. It's kind of related to number 4. That also can mean that you say you're eating 1,200 calories or whatever it is, and you're frustrated because you're not losing, but it's what you consistently do. So that person might be eating 1,200 calories 3 or 4 days a week, but 2 or 3 days a week, they're eating 25 to 3,000, which when you average it all out equals stagnation. You have to remember the weekends, if you factor in Friday evening, Saturday night, that's about 33% of the week. No one expects results off of missing 33% of their effort. Honestly, you can only get away with about 3 minor cheat meals a week, assuming you're eating 5 small meals a day. If you eat 2 meals a day, your chances for success are lower because you don't have as many opportunities to make good or bad choices. Each choice has a heavier weight because you have less of them. So again, and then you have to ask, how do you know how much you're eating? A lot of times, unless you're weighing it or you've been doing this with a professional, it's scientific fact, documented over and over, that people underestimate how much they eat. It's typically 25% more than what you think. And then again, if you don't know what you're burning, this leads to the confusion. So coaches, you have to explain this to people. Don't say you're not eating enough to lose weight. Say, hey, I don't think you're being consistent enough in what you're doing. I don't think you're consistently having the 1,200 calories you say. I think a couple times a week you're having far more, and this is averaging out to a maintenance, to stagnation, to no progress. So it's all in how we say it and how we communicate it that makes it resonate with the people we're trying to help. Again, if these rules didn't apply, there would be no starvation on the planet. And if someone does happen to really have this situation going on, get to university. They need to study you. They can end world hunger. The last one is you're toxic. Man, if your liver and kidneys, those are our filters. That's what keep us from being toxic. If they're compromised, you got a lot more problems than losing weight. You're literally facing dying. That has to be remedied immediately. Those organs are extremely efficient and are critical to life. Without them, we die. You need to get the doctor to fix that up. But those being slightly unhealthy are not going to affect how you lose weight. If they're significantly unhealthy, that you're thinking that's why you're not losing weight, you're really sick. You need to get to the doctor. So as you can see, I'm pretty animated about this. This stuff's really dear to my heart because I hate people being misled or being told half the truth. It's important to understand fully because with that education gives them the power to decide rather than feeling hopeless like they can't make a change just because no one explained it to them thoroughly. So I have explained it and I hope it resonates, and I share this like crap. We need to get this word out. Y'all have a great day.